Good morning, Amanda McEwen here for Rising Star Developer. Hope you're well on this fresh morning. I'm taking my dog Rocket for a stroll, who'll be charging around behind me at some stage. So I've got a question asked recently about, did I have experience in property prior to becoming a developer? And I thought it'd be worthwhile shooting a quick video and sharing my background in property before I moved into development. So my first experience in property was buying my own home, and that was back in 2005. And it was quite a funny experience really, because my boyfriend, now husband, at the time, we'd sort of done some research. We found a handful of properties that we wanted to buy, and the one that we liked was going to auction. And so the night before the auction, we had worked out our walkaway price, where our line in the sand, we weren't going to go over that. And then my husband, or boyfriend at the time, was playing cricket. So I went along to this auction, never having been to an auction before, let alone bidding in one. And I had his parents that came along with me. And so the auction started and bidding happened, and it ended up being between myself and one other person. And we were going back, forth, and we quickly approached my walkaway price very fast. And then I got to the last bid, and it was mine. And the agent walked inside, as they do, and stalled and tried to work out if the property had got to reserve price, and then came back, and for some reason the negotiation started again. Apparently it wasn't quite at reserve, and meanwhile I had my husband's parents behind me going, you know what, we paid a bit more for our first property than we intended. And I ended up buying this property for $20,000 over what my boyfriend and I had negotiated. So I remember calling him up and going, babe, we've got some good news and bad news. We got the house, but I spent $20,000 more than what we'd planned. And his response was, what did you do that for? And I was like, come on, mate, like, you weren't even there. I had the responsibility. I had your parents that gave me the okay to go higher than we planned, and too late now, you weren't there, so I made the choice and we ended up securing this house. And look, in reality, it seemed like a big deal at the time, but a few years later, that $20,000 really meant nothing. It was, I think we ended up buying this beautiful house in Highgate for $430,000, big 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. So it really wasn't much money in the big scheme of things. We sold that a few years ago and did very well out of it. But that's the only experience that I had in property, and before I started moving into property as a business or as a wealth creation tool. And then from there I started did some research and did some education and went down the buy and hold strategy, and then did a couple of renos and then to development. But in terms of the background, I'm not a builder, I'm not a designer. I really didn't have any other property experience prior to just learning from experience and learning as I went along. And so I guess what I wanted to share with you is, even through all the developments that I've done, I'm not a designer and I'm not a builder, and I don't know I understand how to find a deal and look at the high level metrics, but I'm not an engineer. And the beauty thing about your role as a property developer is you actually employ all these qualified people that know how to design a house, that know how to build a house, that know how to do the engineering for a house. So your role as a developer is to find people who know what they're doing, and then manage their let them know what you want, and then they go away and make sure they do everything that's compliant and within the building rules and things like that. And then you go and just manage all those key people that have all the qualifications and have all the skills. So in terms of your role as a developer, you don't need a university degree. You just need to understand how to do a property development, which that's one thing that I'm teaching my students in the inner circle, the process that I follow, and how to do it. And that's all you really need. The rest of the time is making sure you get a really good A-team around you that is qualified and has all the skills, and then you just manage all of them in that as well. So that's really my background in property, and I've certainly learned as I've gone along. Every single project, even now, I learn something new. So just want to share that with you, just to let you know that if you don't have property experience, that's okay.